Okay, we're back. Now, we got a problem though. Get this stuff out of the way. I'll show you. Okay, I got the jig all put together. I don't know if you can see in there. Yeah, you can see the rod. Now, when am I going to go put the rod through? 1.25-inch rod. I got through one of these plates back here, but it could never, it was like binding up on the second one, like it would never go through, and I was like sitting there cleaning everything up, make sure everything was clean and square. The only thing I did was take this one off, and I flipped it around, and everything slid together. So I don't know if when they machined it, something didn't get put together right, but once I flipped it around, it went right through easy. Now, the problem I'm having is, I don't know if this is lined up right. Yeah, there we go. We're not quite like it needs to, like it's not straight. This side's worse. So you can see how it's up. Now I got that on there and it's in, it's tight, and it's square. So it's not because of this. It isn't quite right either, is it? Should probably put my collars on. But anyway, either way, it's not square. And I've read that sometimes this happens. Like you'll get it on there and things aren't together like they're supposed to be with that. So when you weld it, you want these to match up evenly. And I put like little marks here so I can, because I was cleaning it up and I kept wiping away my reference line, so I just made my reference line there. So it's nothing I did. I think it was just that way, and now I got to make it right. So my idea is to get the oxyacetylene torch out, heat up over here somewhere, heat it up red hot, and have it hopefully line itself up. So that's what we're gonna try. We're gonna put some heat in here. I read that this might happen, and I was just hoping that my rear end that I got was gonna be straight. I wouldn't have to worry about it, but that's how it goes. So I'm gonna heat it up and see if it works. And if it does, I'll show you what I did with the torch. Okay, we're back. I finally got this tacked. That's all I did for now, but you saw how much was off of what I did. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see it. You see here, I got the torch out. So this side, what was it? This side was, it was down. This side up here, like if you looked at it here, like this side was down further than this one. So my idea was to heat this up like all the way around, and then all these weights back here, I had 150 pounds basically, and I just set it up here, centered it on here, and set 150 pounds there, and just kept heating this up and heating it up, and it slowly came in, lined up. When it lined up, I just dropped the torch, shut it off, and dropped it, and put 3 good tacks on it. And then this side over here, it was same way, but this side, so I flipped it this way because this side was down and this side was high. This side was high, this one was down. So I just put all the weight on here and did the same thing. I didn't have to do as much though. I heated it up on the bottom and here, and it started coming in, and once it came in, I grabbed the welder and put the 3 good tacks on it, and then I'm letting it cool. It's not hot, but she's a little warm still. So everything's square, and I measured it. Let me look. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. I think I measured it. We're going for 54 inches. I think it might be a hair over. Like when we decided we were going to go 54 and a 16th. Look what it is. I don't know if you can see that. 54 and a 16th. So everything I did, but we measured all this, like to get, like I was gonna be happy with 54, and I was trying to do 54 because it was easier to measure evenly instead of having like a 16th and worrying about a 16th of an inch. But you can see right there, that's what we wanted to be, was 54 and a 16th. So I'm right on the money. Didn't even mean to do it. I was trying to go for just 54 even and call it good. I wouldn't worry about the 16th of an inch, but we are like on the money and square. So now all I gotta do is weld it, but I'm gonna wait till it cools down because then I'm gonna have to weld. And what I'm gonna probably do, I'm probably gonna like do like a inch weld here, come over here and flip it 180 degrees and do like an inch weld there and then stop. And let it cool like 10, 15 minutes. Come back and do another inch and then come over here and do another inch, 180 degrees. You know, come over here and do 180 degrees and do it. Well, that way, doing it slow and like that, methodical and slow, less chance of it warping out of shape. And I'll let it cool all the way down and then I'll take the jig all out and everything should come out like it's supposed to and not be bound up. So that's the plan. So when I get to that point, I'm not gonna weld it tonight though. I'll let it cool down. I'll probably do it tomorrow. But there's our 9-inch jig. I got a bunch of tools. I got my welder, my torch. I got everything out here, so I don't have to clean up. And I'll be back when we go to weld it together. Okay, I'm done narrowing my rear end, my Ford 9-inch rear end, and I got it all welded up. You can kind of see there's my welds on this side, and they're not real smooth. They look in sections, well, because it is in sections. Basically what I'd do like a section here and stop, come over here, and maybe I'd turn it 180 from where I did that weld, and I'd do a section here and stop, and I'd walk away and I'll go clean up something or go do something else, and I'd come back 15, 20 minutes later, check it, make sure it was cool to the touch. I could grab it, it wasn't even, just slightly warm maybe. But I could hold my hand on it, and not feel anything. And I'd do one more section and turn it 180 and do another section on the other side to go back and forth to keep it from getting too hot and warping. And you might saw earlier where there was nothing I did. All I did was cut the flanges off, which I've heard doing that and not being slow about that could warp the housing. I was turning it, and I was only going 1, 2, 3, and I'd turn it, do a little bit. I don't think that warped it. I think maybe my housing was just naturally that way, because I've heard that you'll go to do a housing, it'll be slightly warped. Mine wasn't like bad. I mean, it was just a little bit off. And then I don't know if I remember showing you guys where I had to heat it up with a torch here, figure out where it was, how it was warped, heat it up and let it form back where I needed it. And then I welded it. Same way over here, heated it up, with a torch. I got some of my math here. So I'm basically just going over everything I did. You can see, here's a section I cut out on this side. It's not very much. And there's a section I cut out on this side. A lot more. But you can see my center line here, it's off to the left. So this is the center. If it was centered in the car, right underneath the, what would be the T on the bumper, it'd probably be the center of the car, of the T on Mustang. So basically the T, we're saying if the T is the center, this is where it's gonna line up, or vice versa, my drive line, depending on where the transmission yoke or tail shaft comes out. But we got under there, we made plumb bob marks, and I showed you that earlier. When we go back in with this and we go to set it up to put everything, start putting brackets and coilovers and anti-roll bars. I mean, it'll be a lot more, but a lot more measuring. Make sure we get everything centered in there. But right now, this is the math, you know, that I did. And that was with my jig. I made my little center plate jig. You see how the line here lines up on my center mark. I just, you know, measured from there to there. And what I wanted was 27 inches, 27 inches. So I had to make my measurements and figure out how much I had to cut. And, you know, of course I got the kerf, took the kerf into account. And like I said, when we made the measurements, before we even started doing all this, you know, we did our plumb bob marks and everything on the floor, make sure our wheels were where we wanted them, our ride height and everything. We came out with 54 inches and 1/16. 54 and 1/16 of an inch is what we needed from housing flange to housing flange. I wasn't expecting to get the 16th inch after 54 inches, but so I was just shooting for 54 inches even because I could afford to lose that little bit and not mess with my tires and wheels and stuff. So I was going to do that. Well, when it was all said and done, you might have saw my tape measure. I basically made 54 and 1/16 of an inch. So we're right on the dot of where we need to be anyway. So I'm happy about it. So yeah, there was some stuff in here I didn't, you know, I looked back through my content that I did, you know, while I was doing this, and I'm sorry, I'm not good with the camera or holding the phone and pointing at the same time. Sometimes you're going to see I'm pointing at something or describing something, trying to show you something, the camera's off to the side. I'm sorry. That's why I'm kind of doing this little summary deal at the end of this. But yeah, it was just a lot of measuring, you know. Can't do enough math, can't measure too many times. But yeah, so we are just a hair, you know, hair longer on one side, but that's fine. Now we just got to buy shortened axle shafts and get it in there and start mocking this thing up. So we'll have content when we'll mock it. We're going to clean off these gaskets, get it cleaned up. We're going to start mocking it up in there, and we'll show you that part too. But for right now, that was the end of how we narrowed 4 9-inch. So now we have to, oh, that was the other thing. As I was welding, I didn't film any of my welding. Most people probably know this. I know it. I still did it though. I cleaned up, you know, everything, get ready to weld, but I totally forgot about some, it's axle shaft, so I tried to get all the oil out, but what I should have done when my flanges were cut off, I should have went in there and cleaned it more, try to get more of that oil out with that brush I bought. I didn't. I forgot about it. You know, but that's what you get for doing something and then leaving for the day and coming back. You're just ready to start doing it. You don't even think about it. So there's still some oil in there. So there was like a couple welds over here when I started out welding. And I can't tell you right now. I had to grind them back out. I think it was probably this one. And probably, oops. Probably that one. There was oil still in the tube. So when I started welding, oil started melting through, or, you know, coming through and putting porosity in my welds. So before every weld, and since the housing was hot, you do weld and you turn it, some of that oil would get hot and get in there again. So every time before I welded, I'd clean up my groove where I was welding with wax and grease remover. And after that, I didn't get any porosity or anything. I got good welds, but I just had to, the very first weld, I was like, crap, I knew what I did wrong. So from there on, I just cleaned up, and that porosity weld I did, I just got my die grinder, and I cut off my little grinding wheel, and just dug that back out until I saw no porosity, and then I just filled it in with another weld. So just FYI, don't forget to clean your axle tubes before you weld, if it's a used axle like mine. So when I was turning that, my axle housing fell off, my jack stand over here. But my welds are good, so I feel good. It's about to fall off again over here. Anyway, well, before I screw up my axle housing anymore, we'll go from there. Talk to you guys later.